Hello, everybody. We are live. Oh, there she is.
The dramatic entrance.
I think she's just here. Oh my gosh. Well, I was just about to say, hello and welcome to Biz Chat. I'm Coach Michelle, along with there she is, the amazing Coach Noelle and Dr. Darlene. Every week we bring you the topics of strategic insight and encouragement to what we call the inner game and the outer game of faith-based entrepreneurship. So welcome everybody. Let us know where you're joining us from. We love to see all the different places that you're coming in for. Today's topic, we are continuing to discuss 2021. We know 2020 has thrown us all a loop. And so we're going to do our best to talk to some experts here about how we can best prepare for the upcoming year, not knowing what it's in store, right? So let's learn from those who have walked it, lived it. So we have an awesome guest for you today, Miss Arianna Grace, prophetic business strategist. You guys are going to be blown away by her energy, her joy. We are so privileged to have her on. So that's coming up. So don't go away. But we wanted to let you know too, don't forget, we're here for you. You can always book a 15-minute strategic session with us if you want to know all the different things we offer. We know we throw a lot at you. We have our roadmapper course. We have level 1, level 2. We have coaching. If you just want to talk about discovering entrepreneurship or how you can up-level, go ahead and use this link. Let me show it to you. Our little Calendly link there. I know we have our awesome Coach Lori's out there on the Facebook chat. And Lori, if you could go ahead and drop that in there as well. And if you guys just want to come and hang out with us, we love to welcome you into our Atmosphere of Grace group. Every week we are dropping little Bible nuggets, inspiration, devos, whatever you want to call it, just to keep people inspired and encouraged throughout the week. Because, darling, you don't hear it enough that you've got all these things. You see what amazing new blessing back here, guys. This is my new baby. Hopefully you can read it. Is it backwards for you? I'm not sure.
We can see it. Yeah.
Okay. I guess everybody on podcast, I'm sorry, you can't see it. Come on, tune into Facebook. You'll be able to see my amazing new baby. It's sort of become my new anthem. We're sharing it in the Atmosphere of Grace group coming up. So along with our group, we have our challenge too. You can always hop into the self-starting challenge where you just kind of come in. It walks you through the units and you can go through the challenge and see what we're all about, get a little training about how you can discover entrepreneurship and get started if things are a little fuzzy right now, but you're feeling that tug from the Lord that you think there's more and you think you might be cut out for entrepreneurship. Woo! My goodness, guys, how are you all? How was your week? How is your week of being an entrepreneur? Ups and downs, highs and lows. Let's have a little chat time and tell me what you're drinking this morning.
All right. Darlene, you up this morning? Oh, Kitty.
Well, my cat apparently wants to make a guest appearance in the show today. Sorry, this is Duchess, everybody.
Duchess?
Duchess, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
We have royal pets in our family. We have a baron, we have a lady, and we have a duchess. That was not intentional. It just worked out.
That is fabulous.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, what you drinking?
So I am in my wonderful beach cup because I love the beach, so it makes me happy. So coffee with my coconut milk and my cinnamon because I'm a little spicy, and so I need spice.
You are spicy. You're a little spice girl. So how was your week? What was your highs and lows?
Yeah, the week was great. So this is funny. I, sometimes we do things and we forget about them, right? So I had actually recorded a program probably 2 months ago with somebody, totally forgot about it, when it was going to air and all this stuff. And all of a sudden in my business, I'm getting like leads coming in and leads. And I'm like, where are all these people coming from? And then I've got this space on my forum that says, how did you hear about us? And they're like, oh, webinar. And I'm like, webinar? I haven't done a webinar. Like, what are you talking about? And then they finally said the person that, was interviewing me. And I was like, oh, wow. So I love that because it was like a seed that I sowed that I totally forgot about and didn't even water it.
So good.
It's been producing fruit, which has been really, really great. So that made me have a really good day yesterday.
Oh, so good. How about anything you want to share that was a little tough to take this week? You don't have to. You can pass. You should have a little pass sign.
Pass on
Pass. All right. Coach Noel.
This week was super awesome because it started with my birthday. Monday was my birthday. And so I've actually come to a place where I don't want a lot of stuff. I don't want to do a lot of things. I just want to be with God. And so I kind of blocked off the day for that and really have been in some communication with him about like, what do you want for me? What do you for the year, the upcoming year? And he asked me, I shared about this in Atmosphere of Grace. He asked me, what do you want? And I got really clear on that. And it was a little different than it's been in the past. And I just feel like I'm laser focused. I'm getting really focused, and it looks a little different than how I've been working in the past. I'm really going to focus in on speaking and writing. Like I have this first book is about to drop, and I have 50 pages towards the next book, and I'm like jonesing to keep writing. And so just asking God how to market that without pulling away from the primary stuff. Oh, do we have time for me to say this real quick too?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So when I got, when you get real clear with God and then you're like, okay, show me what's next. Well, I had found, it's called Punchline, and it's a speakers bureau. And I had signed up for their email years ago, never heard from them. Well, 2 days after I came to those decisions, I got an email from them. So I've actually signed up for a session to talk about applying to be one of their speakers. And it just felt like God was like, here you go. Now that you're clear, here's the next step. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Well, that leaves me. And so
we didn't toss it back to you. I'm sorry, Michelle.
It's okay.
Michelle,
it's okay. Do you really care?
Just yourself, Michelle.
Does anybody care?
How was your week?
I got distracted looking at the comments. I'm so sorry. Totally fell down on the job there.
I'm just giving you guys a hard time. Oh, lovely. So you guys, here's the thing. I so echo with you about the getting clear. So my husband and I have been praying, like he's right in there with me. Like he's part of my businesses. I bring everything to him. And so I know that I need to get very clear on e-com and take it in a new direction. It's something God has made very clear to me. So I'm with you on that. And so we decided we were going to take some funds and sow into this business in a different direction. And just last night, you guys, just last night, I just got contacted by a school to do over 300 I for them. I know, you guys, it was just sort of like, oh my gosh, it was just one of those things where I was like, this has not happened before. So I just want to encourage everybody out there. Look, we've been at this for a long time. And so many times I think people are like, but I have too. I've been pursuing and there just are, I was speaking with another, another coach this week, and she was asking me, like, why don't you think that certain things can be revenue sources immediately? And I said, because I believe in the principle of sowing and reaping, and that there is a season that we need to sow. And sometimes that season can be a few years, a couple years. And sometimes we lose heart and we get discouraged. And I know we're going to talk about that a little bit with our guest, Arianna, and I cannot wait to hear what she says about this, you guys. We can get so discouraged when things start to fall apart and it feels like, I'm going backwards, not forwards. And then you get the breakthrough. So I just want to encourage you guys, like you've just heard from us, like we've got breakthrough, we get next level breakthroughs, but they're hard earned. And so stick with it because It's coming. It's coming. Like, do not despair. So, with that, you guys, are you ready to bring on our guest?
Yay!
All right, drum roll, please, because we are so incredibly blessed to bring on the amazing Arianna Grace, business strategist. Let's add her to the stream.
We're so excited.
I'm thrilled to be here. You have no idea. And it's like Christmas morning for me.
This is
well, Noelle was talking about, what she wanted for her birthday was time with God. And honestly, if I got to do my birthday over, I would spend it with amazing Christian entrepreneurs like you guys, because you just inspire me so much, with what you do and how you do it. So
yay.
Awesome. Thrilled to be here.
So I want to introduce you a little bit and share a little personal story about how I got to know Arianna, which Arianna, if you have not noticed, has a powerful presence. If you haven't picked that up already, you will pick that up in another 30 seconds. And I met Arianna at Jim Baker's Wealth with God conference. Michelle and I went there, and you guys might have seen the episode that we actually stepped out of a really good session to do the show. So we're very committed to this. And I'm an introvert. I'm pretty quiet, and Arianna is not. And so at first I was like, And what I decided, God actually told me to go to Arianna's breakout, and she blew my mind. It was so incredibly helpful. She's an amazing strategist. She's an amazing businesswoman. But on top of that, she really is completely tuned into the Holy Spirit. And sometimes that's a hard thing to do together, like to submit to the Holy Spirit as well as be able to put plans in place and help people plan. So that's why I'm really excited to have her here. Watch this episode, because you're going to have some stuff that you need for next year from talking with Arianna. So we're so glad you're here.
Oh, thanks so much. Noelle, I'm so blessed.
Yeah. So Arianna, give us a little background on you, where you're coming from, and just kind of how you got where you are today.
Yeah, well, it's a really interesting story, because for me, I went back and forth between ministry and business for so many years. I knew I had a heart for people. I knew I wanted to see people's lives transformed. And so to my mind, I jumped in the missionary box, because that's what you do, when you have a heart for that. But then bills come, and, you have to pay for those flights and all these other things. So I did love business, and I would do some business for a while, and then, go back to missionary work. And I had this back and forth game for a long time, until I finally ended up 9 months in bed. Just had exhausted myself out traveling to some of the most dangerous places in the world, because I was passionate, to see the gospel released, but also trying to work at the same time, and had some, God was just continuously pulled my heart towards business as well. So in that 9 months that I was flat on my back, God started talking to me about having a business tree, where the two can really come together. And I believe that the impact that we can have through business is unlike any other. It will change you first and foremost. It certainly has transformed me, but it's given me a vehicle to transform lives and even share the gospel, and really see God work in amazing ways. And so I'm very thankful for my business tree.
And what is your business tree? Like, give us a little insight. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I am a prophetic business strategist, and like you said, Noelle had mentioned it's unusual for those things to go together, but I think inviting Holy Spirit into our plans is really faith in action. Planning, to my mind, is faith in action. And so you can absolutely add the prophetic into that. and see some amazing results. So I help Christian entrepreneurs, get a strategy. I love what Michelle says about your inner game and outer game, because it has to be part of it. You have to bring the mental and spiritual and practical side to everything that you do. But we have that privilege as kingdom entrepreneurs to be able to put all those pieces together in a way that has the greatest amount of impact. And I consider it a blessing and an honor to do that. So,
and you've helped some pretty big players too. We're not talking just, some of us here that are starting out. Like you've helped some high achieving, goal strategy. Like you've give us a little insight there.
Yeah. So I was working, I called myself, well, I was a consultant for years. But then I use the analogy, if you've ever tried to hold a beach ball underwater, it doesn't work so well. That was like me trying to not be prophetic as a consultant. And so, blessing to you. And so I was consulting with businesses, and I had that prophesied over me so many times. And I was like, how would that ever happen? Like, how could I possibly consult? And then it just happened. I started having business after business that had just heard about me or would talk to me for a few minutes. Can you come in and consult with my business? Can you come work with us? And so I've never advertised as a consultant, but I worked as a consultant for years. And then I started having more and more entrepreneurs ask me to work with them one-on-one. And about 15 months ago, God asked me to transition and work with Christian entrepreneurs. And so I completely shifted my focus from working with businesses and individual entrepreneurs of all different backgrounds, who were all okay, believe it or not, with the fact that I was prophetic in what I did. And I was very open about it. But I shifted about 15 months ago to really serving Christian entrepreneurs, because I believe there's so many people that are getting that tug from the Lord saying, you're really an entrepreneur, you can do this. And so it's just a blessing and an honor to see those people kind of, step up into that opportunity that God is giving them, what he's calling them into. Yeah. It's a blessing to see it. And I know you guys feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely.
I'm wondering, do you think that's COVID related to some degree, that people are losing jobs, so they might have had this desire to go into business, or what do you make of that?
Yeah, the people that I speak to, I speak to quite a lot of people every week. I make it a point, especially right now, to spend time, one-on-one with entrepreneurs or people moving into that, because I want to hear, where they're coming from and, what challenges, what obstacles, what opportunities. I very rarely hear COVID. More often than not, I hear that it's just, because you can't spend time with a really big God and not come out with a God-sized dream. I think God is in this season causing people to dream dreams with him. And so more often than not, I see it as a passion. So people will come to me with, Arianna, I have a heart for this group of people, or I have, a passion just to see people restored or something like that. And God is increasingly, as they spend time with him, navigating them towards serving through business, just as he did with me in those 9 months. Leaving it all together.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Arianna, I wanted to ask you, as we are talking about prepping for 2021, you obviously are very, very good at this. So could you give us maybe some things to do and things not to do as we are crafting our upcoming year?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So things to do and things not to do. I will give you my unfiltered tips on this. Number one thing to do is spend time on your vision. And I'm not talking about the one sentence why statement or something like that. I mean, really spend some time with the Lord. He's the creator of everything, and you're his child. And so when you spend time with him, that he's going to help, give you some detail and some more revelation. I will give you the tip that if you ask general questions, you'll get general answers, but go talk to God more about specific questions, about the vision. How much time do you want to be able to spend with your kids, how much time. I also work with human trafficking organizations, and so I make sure to navigate my business around that type of work. So I'm available for it as well. So start to ask specific questions of yourself and of God, and sit down and get a vision. That is my best to do. I'm a strategist, and so unless we know where you're going, I have no idea how to help you get there. And so a lot of people like, Arianna, what's your advice for my business? I don't know. Where are you taking it? We'll talk about that first. And it is okay. And I'm really sensing this right now. Some people are like, at the beginning stages and really hesitant. It's wrong for me to think about, what I want things to ultimately be, because I'm just starting out. This is the perfect time to think about how you want things to be, because you can design your business in that direction if you are aware of where you want to take it and get intentional about it. So if you want, I give the example a lot. I worked with a business that their goal was to flip their business, so, build their business and flip it. And unfortunately, I came in to work with them 3 different times. The business model, which was set in stone at that point, couldn't be changed, and it was never going to be profitable enough, no matter how we looked at it. I made it far more profitable, but it was never going to be profitable enough to make it interesting to an investor. But that needed to be known early on in the stages. And so, I know a lot of people listening probably aren't in a business to that level, but it's just an example of, it's just like if you have a house, you get the plans for the house, and then you start building. So it's okay to go ahead and plan for what you want, and it will change and adapt as you build it and grow it. But just spend some, this is a great time to do it. We're getting ready to enter another year, sit in front of the Christmas tree with a cup of coffee and just get, detailed with the Lord about what you want that vision for your business to look like. My thing not to do is spend a bunch of time on like a 5-year plan or 1-year plan, because that is not the age that we live in. So vision and having an idea of where you want things to go is different than coming up with a plan. I have a plan for 2021, but it's a plan in progress. Let's put it that way. I want to stay consistently open to the opportunities that God is putting in front of me, and the outcomes. So if I have a program that I release in January and it goes really well, I'm probably going to adjust my plans a little bit to focus more on that, because that's where things are moving and where God's blessing. So I have a plan, but it's a plan in progress. And I make a lot of pivots along the way, but I still stay on course and I'm able to pivot and take best advantage to all the opportunities that God is putting in front of me.
I love that, because that's actually one of my hangups. Like every time I put down like a plan, something else comes up that I feel like God's saying, no, do this. And I'm like, well, why did I spend all that time? I just really love the flex, like vision, but not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's vision based. Like my vision doesn't change, and I have goals for myself that are challenging. I have a plan to 4x my business in 2021. But so I have that goal, that next step in my business that I feel very motivated by, and it keeps me moving forward. So have a goal, be motivated by that next step goal, and but be willing to pivot and realize that you may have been planning to do this thing in February or this thing in March. But don't forget the goal. Let the goal be in charge of the plan, not the other way around.
Let the goal be in charge of the plans, not the other way around. Let the goal be in charge of the plans, not the other way around.
Yeah, so good. Oh my word. Some people get so beholden to, well, I put it on paper and it's a commitment now. Well, no, it was an idea, it was an opportunity, it was something you're going for. But if you have the opportunity to keep pivoting and know that that's okay, it's okay. Where I see a lot of Christian entrepreneurs getting hung up is, but I believe God told me this, or I believe God showed me that. And I don't doubt it. people have an amazing ability to hear from God. And also, that thing he told you may have been to get you to the next step.
Yes.
And then he's going to show you the next step.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we can hold on so much to what we think God said on an earlier step that we allow it to stop us in our tracks. And if we stop in our tracks, then we get into what I call stuck cycle, where you get stopped, you start to pause, you start to overanalyze, you start to overthink, and then you don't take any action and you get stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not the point. I mean, the greatest thing about being a Christian entrepreneur is that it keeps you like this with the Lord.
Yeah.
You cannot hold on to, you can't even hold on to what he said before more tightly than you hold on to him right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good word.
Yep. I always say, like, this is the best self-help program you could ever join. Just become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, because it'll bring all your junk up. So you are dropping a lot of bombs. Like, I'm going to have to re-listen to this. This is so good. So a question came in on the chat. What about when you want to do everything? Like, because entrepreneurs are very enthusiastic, like so many good things.
Yes. So that's true. Again, when you spend time with a really big God, you're going to get really big God-sized dreams. You spend time with the creator of the universe, you're going to tap into that creativity. And so take it as a good sign that you have so many ideas that you want to do. Based on my years of experience and speaking to hundreds of thousands of Christian entrepreneurs, it is always a sign that you're spending time with a really big God. And so kudos to you for doing that. Now it's time to start to focus in on, what is going to apply. This is where that vision helps a lot. Having a vision for where you want to go. Some of those ideas you have aren't going to get you to that vision, and that's okay. God's not going to run out of ideas. He's not going to have his feelings hurt if you had an idea and then you're like, okay, that one's not going to fit where I'm going right now. It's a process that we get to go through with him, and we get to enjoy it together and select those ideas together. So my best advice for people who have a lot of ideas, number one, don't hold on to your ideas more tightly than you hold on to God. And it is easiest to figure out which ones are really for you in the season when you have, when you've spent time with him on that vision. You can kind of hold those ideas up and a little bit easier and find out which ones are going to serve you towards that destination that you've chosen with God.
So good. And so we're over here with all the things, but then we have people over here with hesitation and lack of clarity, right? So we have people on both ends of the spectrum. How can we help them in our 2021 planning when it's like it's just not coming. It's just not clear. It's just
So the best way to get clear is to get into action. And so in the action cycle, we have a vision, we take action on that vision, and action breeds clarity. And then we get a refined vision. It refines our vision. And then we can take more action and get more clarity. And so, for anybody out there that feels kind of like, I'm just not sure, find an action you can take and start to take intentional action towards where you want to go. And the clarity comes. I think a lot of people get stuck in those areas because they think they need the next 10 steps before they can take the first one. And if you think about God's
she's nailing me.
If you think about God's secret plan in all of this, because I'm pretty sure he has one, it's so we walk more closely with him. And you ladies know this, like you get like this with God when you walk out of business. I mean, it's just, you can't not. So a lot of times I believe it's part of his plan. If he gave us the next 10 steps, you ladies are probably way better than me. I would just start running after those steps like Joan of Arc and God in my dust. And
so
be like, where'd that go? Where'd it go?
My friends have called me Joan of Arc on more than a few occasions.
Oh, that's fabulous.
I do not have very much problem with fear. So I just plow right into whatever. But yeah, that's my best advice. To get out of the stuck cycle, the only way to do it is to take action. And so, if it makes you really nervous, spend a little bit more time on the vision part, start building up that vision in your spirit, man, with the Lord. Find an action that you can take and take it. That action will create clarity. And so really that action is making a phone call or looking into a program that you were thinking about taking, or, just whatever that next step is the Holy Spirit, creates for you. You're going to take that action. You're going to get more clarity. You're going to get a little bit more light on that next step. And then you see how that starts to kind of snowball forward. And pretty soon you're rolling right past me. And I love it.
You're so good. She's such a great champion of everybody, you guys. Like, I just love her energy. She was just like, oh, you want everybody to succeed better than,
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things you and I talked about, and I want to make sure we hit today, because we're getting close to running out of time, is you said something that totally knocked my socks off when we were kind of going over some things. You were saying that there are elements of upleveling that actually are when we can identify when we start to see our systems and our processes and our mindsets actually break down. Yeah. That's a good thing. So tell everybody why it's a good thing when your processes, maybe in 2020, you guys had a little bit of meltdown.
You wouldn't be the only one. So
tell us why that's good, because that's what I have written down. Arianna says that's good.
Good thing. So here's the thing. So we tend to get, and again, Christians can be a little worse at this than a lot of other entrepreneurs, because we'll start calling things attack. We'll start calling things, we'll start backing up and thinking that we miss God. Anytime that you up level, it's exactly like what Coach Michelle said. You have systems, processes, and mindsets that break. So as I'm looking at up leveling myself in 2021, I've already noticed the mindsets that are breaking. I started to have so many checks come in one day. Don't laugh at me. I started to have so many checks come in one day. It stressed me out. And I'm like, this isn't even close to what I'm planning on having in 2021. I've got a mindset that I really need to talk to the Lord about before I start to sabotage myself, because that's
so good.
Yeah. And then systems and processes break, and that just happens. So we'll be like, oh my gosh, everything's falling apart. That's okay. It's part of up leveling. So, if you're moving at a higher level, the things that served you on this level won't be able to serve you anymore. You're going to have to up level how you do things, how you think about things, how you approach things. Maybe, how you're doing things, or the people that you're spending time with. All of these things are going to break so that you can, step up into a higher level. So don't be unnerved by them. Start to call them opportunities. Mm-hmm. Great. I have a mindset opportunity because getting a bunch of checks in one day stressed me out. Mindset opportunity. And so, but there's a hack I have for this. And so, when it comes to, that next step, you don't have to be surprised by it. I just told you exactly what's going to happen when you up level. Mm-hmm. And so if you're just starting out in business, one of the processes that may break is who's taking care of the kids. Like, because I got to put more time towards business. And so that's a process that you're like, oh, okay. So, but again, this is where we get real close to God, because you're like, oh, what do I do now? And you start to correct that. And you start to be able to rise up. But here's my hack when it comes to all of this. Now you know exactly what's going to happen every time you up level. Mm-hmm. So start talking to the Lord about it ahead of time. They're asking. So, like, I asked myself, okay, and I won't tell you the number that I'm going for in 2021, but if I'm going to, the person who makes X amount, which is a lot more than what I'm making now, what does that person think? What did they do? How did they spend their time? Where would their focus need to be? And when you ask these questions in partnership with Holy Spirit, you're going to get the game plan of exactly how you need to prepare for that ahead of time. It's coming. The only reason it's been painful for you before is because no one told you that this is the process. And maybe nobody even told you that you could spend time with the Holy Spirit and get ahead of that process and start to just make it part of your plan.
Yeah, so I love that. Yeah. So, I'm curious, Darlene, what's going on in your neurosurgeon brain around what she's saying?
Oh my gosh, I could talk for another half hour on it. Sad, but let me sum it up with one thing. So all the points that she was talking about, what can stop us is fear. right? Fear can stop you from making a decision. Fear can stop you from, when you get all these checks, like, what do you do? And it paralyzes you. And, you've probably heard me talk about this before. It shuts down when we're afraid, that thinking and reasoning part of our brain. And we go into fight or flight mode. And all we're concerned about is just basic, staying alive. Essentially, that's what your brain is trying to do. But as you tap into your faith with God, as you tap into the promises that He has given you and that vision that you have co-created with Him, you have to know that you can't fail. When you have God as a business partner, like, seriously, you cannot fail with that. And our brain, and when we give it this vision, it actually does the work better than you can do consciously. Subconsciously, it does the work of forming pathways, connections, building this lattice that gives you a perspective on recognizing opportunities, right? And knowing how to respond to people, and even knowing which people to respond to, which things to say yes to, which things to say no to. We talk about this in Roadmappers, right? And it will do that so much better than you can do that consciously. And we know that it's God through Holy Spirit actually working in there and building those connections. But I love all of this because your brain is working directly in line. If you follow her advice, you will help your brain out. So.
So good, you guys. So good. Well, Arianna, we are out of time. We can't wait to have you back again.
I was can we schedule it right away?
Absolutely.
But we want to know, where can everybody find you? We want to tell us what's coming up for you.
Yeah. So I have the Plan to Win Mastermind coming up in, that's my website, Inspiration to Impact. I have the Plan to Win Mastermind coming up in January. It is open now, and we're doing some extra bonuses in December. And guess what? It's on vision. And so it's really, really powerful stuff. And I also had an idea at the beginning of this. It's Christmas. And so I'm feeling very festive. And I would love to give your folks a program of mine for free. And I can just give them the code. If you go to Inspiration Impact, there's a Plan to Win 14-day program. And it's a paid program. But and if you use the code BizChat, then you will get it for free. And that's 14 days that you can use, over these holidays to kind of gear up and get your plan ready for 2021. And that is my Merry Christmas to you.
Oh,
so good. So
yeah.
Awesome. We'll go over to inspirationtoimpact.com and look for the 14-day
Plan to Win.
And enter BizChat as your promo code. Guys, thank you so much, Arianna. Thank you for being here and sharing all your wisdom and knowledge. So wonderful to have you.
Yeah, wonderful to be. We'll have to do this again soon, girls.
Yes.
All right. Happy holidays to everybody.
And to you. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Join us next Friday, same time, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll be back with another amazing guest on BizChat.
Bye.